Hello guys, I wanted to talk with you today about payphones. I wanted to retouch on this subject. So basically I wanted to explain how I have looked into a series of websites that list payphones and painstakingly called each one of these payphone numbers in order to see if they're active, if these payphones are currently usable. One thing that I've found is that these payphone listing websites are quite unreliable, and the vast majority of the numbers listed are not active. And I'm working to find a reliable list of payphone numbers that are active, even if I have to do it myself, which is uh, pretty exhausting because I've made hundreds of phone calls and I've found a grand total of 3 payphones in the state of Ohio that are active, and that's out of several hundred phone calls I've made, possibly 300 or 400 calls now. So and this is in the state of Ohio that I did this research. I live in Ohio, and I was first targeting the area of Ohio just to see what payphones I could find accessible if I were to choose to want a private phone call that the government or the corporations aren't tying to my user history, my phone, my own account. So for my own personal reasons, I stuck with Ohio, and my results are remarkably thin. I have only, like I said, out of hundreds of phone calls, I've only found 3 active payphones. And what makes an active payphone? Essentially, an active payphone is one where you call and you get a ring, but you don't get an answering machine. So from my understanding, payphones don't have answering machines. It wouldn't make a lot of sense because who would receive those who would even receive those voicemails and hear them. And so I found a total of 3 payphones in the state of Ohio. There could be more. There likely are more, but I want to keep looking into that. But so far I've only found 3, and those payphones are one is in Port Columbus International Airport. That's the main Columbus airport, and it's there's one payphone that I know of in the Columbus airport, and their phone number is 614-338-8452. The second number I was able to verify as a payphone was at a rest area in Bath Township off of I-77, and this phone number is 330-659-9988. The third number I was able to find that seemed to indicate an active payphone was in Bay Village. It's at a speedway in Bay Village, and that number is 440-250-0508. So a total of 3 payphones that I've been able to find in the great state of Ohio out of several hundred phone calls. So my results are very limited, and I've yet to find a quality, inaccurate listing of active payphone numbers. I will continue to look for those, but so far this is what I've come up with after several hours of making these phone calls. And mostly what I would receive are just that 3-tone sound. It's like da na na. This number is not active, or something like that. So almost all of these calls end with this automatic response saying that the number has been deactivated. So Very little results so far, and I have chosen not to include. There are payphones that I found at a car rental in Cleveland that in this car rental in Cleveland, but this is a number that according to the website requires a credit card. It's a card phone. I believe is what it means. I think it means it's a credit card that you have to use. I'm looking specifically for coin-operated payphones because of the anonymous factor, to be able to have that anonymity that you wouldn't have if you put in your private banking information. So far the results quite limited, but and I'm not including anything that you have to enter personal information for, and so I've yet to find a reliable, accurate, up-to-date source of payphones. But so far the listings are pretty disappointing as to what is active, and the span is like it's finding a needle in a haystack finding these payphones now. I think there's far more payphones that are just sitting unactive and not used. Far more of those than there are actual payphones that are active. So I'm going to continue looking into this and get back with you guys if I find more numbers or if I can find more information on resources for active payphones. And I'm going to continue this series and give you guys a wide and in-depth perspective on payphones and track phones, drop phones, those kind of things. I want to cover that as well. So stay tuned, and I will get back to you guys with more information about our dwindling sources of anonymous communication. Thank you.